Welcome to your best kept secret to success. I'm Prema, and this is where resonance replaces readiness and your frequency leads the way. I'm so glad you're here. Take a breath with me as we open this sacred space together. Let yourself land. Not to perform, not to produce, but to return. This is what I call a NarrowGate transmission, and it means that something very specific is in the field. It's not meant for volume, it's meant for precision. Here you don't get more by doing more. You get more by clearing distortion. You get more by releasing what no longer serves. You get clarity not by adding steps, but by listening beneath the noise. So we begin not with urgency, but with attunement. Let your breath move through your system. Let your body settle. There's nothing to chase, only something to honor, and that will reveal. Today's episode is about the hidden currency you may be spending unconsciously and how to realign it through your values, your devotion, and your lived embodiment. If you've never taken the Sacred Wealth Archetype quiz, it's a beautiful place to start. You'll discover your unique Sacred Wealth Code, which holds the key to aligned prosperity. And you'll get one of your Sacred Wealth Code archetypes. And you'll find the link in the show notes. We'll do a brief Vedic astrology energy update for a current transit that I want to help make you aware of and how it'll best serve you. We'll do an integration practice at the end of our time together. And just before that, we will do an embodiment practice, an integration practice, so that whatever lands for you today doesn't float away. It actually finds a place to root within you and to help move you forward in the most aligned way possible. Venus in Leo with Ketu, the mystic, in the Sacred Wealth Archetype system. Venus is the connector and also the artist. If you're watching me on video, you'll see I'm holding cards up from the Sacred Wealth Code Oracle deck. And this is where radiant devotion meets sacred refinement. Venus has entered Leo on the 19th of September, the sign of radiance, artistry, and soul-led visibility. And this transit, which began just a few days ago and continues through October 9th, amplifies themes of beauty, expression, creative devotion. But there's a shadow here because the mystic, Ketu, is here. This is the south node of the moon. This is part of the eclipse pattern and part of what is causing the solar eclipse to happen on September 21st. I talk about that more in episode 30. Ketu, the mystic, is the planet of subtraction. Ketu asks us to let go of anything that is keeping us from walking our most divine path, and then we relate it to the sign that it's in, Leo. So it's a planet of subtraction, and with Venus and Ketu interacting, we're not just being asked to shine, we're being asked to refine. So during this transit, You may feel a disillusionment with superficial visibility, discomfort with performative success, a longing to express only what's true. And with Venus, that's often the beauty that wants to come through, the connection that wants to come through, because it is a planet of relationship and connection, as well as creativity. So let your light bless the field without chasing validation. Ketu says, let go of anything not born of your true divine path of coherence. And this validation will also show up not just publicly in your conscious leadership, but it'll show up relationally. So let your light bless the field without chasing that validation from the collective or from another. This is the moment to ask what beauty wants to be expressed, not because it's useful, but because it's true. Beauty is the divine. It is truth. What you share in this window of time can be infused with elegance, with pleasure, and bold resonance, but only if it arises from essence and not ego. Think about elegance for a moment. Elegance is that refinement of beauty. So this transit will be in Leo, which is the natural 5th house of the zodiac, our mind, our creativity. It can rule children, but also it's like romance. So this is, again, a place we're going to want to be careful for being validated in relationship, especially in romantic relationship. But personally for you, it's a specific house in your chart, and that'll be another layer of influence. We go into that in reading sessions. So if you're curious about your own Vedic astrology chart and want a soul blueprint or a sacred wealth code reading to unlock your personal blueprint, your transits, what's happening currently, what you were born with, what's coming up for you, I offer these readings, and I love to help reveal what you're encoded with, and all the details are in the show notes. All right, take a deep breath. The currency of time, energy, and devotion, that is our focus. That is our transmission today. This is a NarrowGate teaching where something very precise wants to come through. Where your currency flows, your devotion grows. And this isn't just about money. We think of currency as being money, but currency is our life force. It's the literal currency of your energetic currency, your time, your energy, your attention, and your devotion. And we're going to walk through 5 core currencies. And each one has its own geometry, its own tone, and yes, its own cost. Time is a sacred currency, and time is not neutral. You're always investing time somewhere. But are you investing intentionally, or are you leaking unconsciously? We all do both. Every moment is an act of devotion to something, investment. And there's a collective myth that time is scarce. Notice if you have that belief, time is scarce. Are you always running? There's never enough? And does that leak over into your wealth? Or do you have a wealth of time? All the time that you need, want, or desire for everything. Everything that's yours. Time becomes sacred when it's rhythmic, not rushed. Let's pause the glorification of productivity. This is not about time management. It's about time reverence. Time is the vessel for what you value. And you can't be in right timing if you're not in right rhythm. So think about your breath for a moment. We can rush our breath, and that creates a lot of tension and not enough. We can deepen our breath. The brain will drop into alpha. It'll become very spacious. There's more than enough. Everything in the whole system relaxes. In fact, when you're rushed, your DNA, has that beautiful ribbon twist in it. Well, your DNA twists tighter. We're stressed or rushed, or we don't have enough, we're scarce. It relaxes into just the most gentle spiral because it's about receptivity. When we have more space, and space in timing is a perception. So you can't be in right timing if you're not in right rhythm, just like your breath. Where do you still equate value with how much time you give? Instead of what you give it to. And where are you donating your time to something that no longer deserves it? Yeah, tell yourself the truth. You're worth it. Have you remembered that your time is a vote for the world you're creating? Where are you donating your time to something that no longer deserves it? And have you remembered that your time is a vote for the world that you are creating? Or always giving energy to something, financing it. When time is sacred, you stop performing urgency. You create fewer commitments. You remember that presence is what makes time meaningful. You know when you're with someone and they are not there. There is not much meaning to that time. Or when someone else calls you out, child, hey, are you paying attention to me? You're there, but nobody's home because you're somewhere else. And there was a time in my business when I booked myself back to back with clients, calls, content, all the behind the scenes things one does in a business. My dad always says I was born busy. I just have a few plates to spin and attend to. I was efficient, productive, but I also got depleted, constantly pouring out energy. And that tight timeline that I kept myself on was based really in scarcity. I would replenish in the big doses with my meditation practice, my long walks, but I kept myself more in that depletion and that scarcity throughout my day. And there was this illusion that if I just kept going, I'd finally get it all done and then I could relax and release. This is a little bit more of a shadow masculine principle. I'm not going to dive into all that. That's a whole other episode. But the truth is, we are never done, not in our soul-led work. And the deeper question is, am I attending to what's truly important to me? And that is a question that is near and dear to me. And a few years ago, I made a change. I started building space between everything, not as a buffer, but as devotion. And the space became sacred, and it is very much sacred. So in that space, maybe I'm going to step out and put my feet on the earth, sit down and actually eat my lunch and not rush through tasks at the computer, spend time with Bella, my dog, just feel the sun on my face, read something, or, just breathe instead of rushing through the next thing on the list. And you know what changed? I arrived at the next client or project replenished, not rushed. Space, presence. And that really changed everything for me. So where are you rushing? Where could you use some more space? And what would that open up for you? Energy is the frequency you broadcast. Energy is not renewable by default. Where you spend your energy determines what you become available for. If time is the when, energy is the how. And this is the realm of vitality, radiance, life force. And we often leak energy through distortion. Over-explaining. Rescuing. Forcing. Performing. So if energy is your broadcast frequency, what are you tuning others to? What are you broadcasting and what are you tuning others to? What actually replenishes your energy now? Not what used to. What's currently replenishes your energy? Is it scrolling? Researching the next thing, shopping online? Does that replenish your energy? Did it ever? Because there is a lot of things that are lobbying for your attention to consume your energy. What replenishes your energy? Outside, nature, whatever the weather is, that's one of the things that replenishes mine. Movement. What replenishes yours? Maybe it's a nap. A deep conversation. with someone you care about. Do you feel energetically generous after a session? If you're working one-on-one with people, a conversation, or more time online, or do you feel depleted? It's time to notice. Awareness precedes change. A shift in your attention, a new choice for devotion as opposed to depletion. What would it feel like to be the keeper of your energy? Truly the keeper of your energy, not its hostage. The mystic, the south node of the moon, and we all have the mystic somewhere in our chart, and then we have it by transit somewhere in our chart, always. It's always moving every 18 months to remind us what to release, because the mystic transforms through subtraction. It drains instead of adding more input. That's the magician. That's the north node of the moon. This is the less is more energy. And if you had less and were investing less in what's depleting you, what would you have more of? Energy isn't just what you spend, it's what you carry into the next thing. And devotion without energy becomes performance. True presence begins with vitality. Devotion is the structure of your life. Devotion is not a feeling, it's a design. It's not about being motivated every day. It's about knowing what you're faithful to. Devotion, energy of the heart, energy of truth, builds the invisible scaffolding around your joy, your purpose, your service. It's the part of you that shows up even when no one's watching. Devotion is what you return to when no one is requiring anything from you. What does your current life say you're devoted to? If we were to look in on you, you were to look at the movie of your life, what does it say you're devoted to? Are you devoted to what's really important to you? Where are you investing your time? Things that don't serve you, things that are consuming you instead of things that would serve you or that you're serving. It could be relationships. Yes, scrolling, we could say it over and over again. And where are you confusing discipline with devotion? Discipline, that's a future episode right there. The true essence of the word discipline, I believe, is disciple of the one, the one. And most people think of discipline as an imposed structure, not a natural one, not a devoted one, but an imposed one that often turns into obligation. So, does that shadow discipline actually nourish you? Or does devotion actually nourish you? One is rooted in shoulds, and one is rooted in coherence. And reflect on this for a moment. Can you return to what you love, without trying to monetize it, to prove it, or to package it? Are you truly devoted to what you love? When I'm working with a client, someone in Sacred Wealth Mastery, conscious leader that is ready to bring a gift forward and immediately wants to put the pressure of time and money and proving on it, I ask them to pause. And what if they just poured devotion into it and let that breathe the life into it first, so it could get very rooted without pressure? And then allow it to also inform you on how it does want to monetize. How does it want to be dressed up and packaged instead of the other way around? Your currency reveals coherence. If you want to know what you value, look at your calendar. What does your calendar look like? What do you fill your life with? Look at your sleep. Look at your boundaries. And boundaries are not walls to keep others out. Boundaries are the rule sets that you and your soul create for you, and you live as the sacred architecture that allows your energy to be in its rightful place. You get to choose. So, is your calendar, your sleep, your boundaries, are they in coherence with what you say matters to you? Or is there a dissonance there? When your time, your energy, your attention, and devotion are aligned, you become a lighthouse. And when you're scattered, you become a seeker. This isn't about getting it perfect. It's about becoming congruent. Sacred leadership is devotional stewardship. Let's end with this reminder. You are not here to be efficient. You are here to be coherent. Conscious leadership is not about saying more, doing more, or launching more. It's about stewarding your inner structure, your energy, your soul blueprint with precision. So who are you when nothing is expected of you and when everything is still sacred? This is the essence of this gate. Strip away, return, devote, and embody. If this field of reverence speaks to you, you may already be part of the Sacred Wealth Mastery field. It's not a program, it's a remembrance, and you'll know if you're meant to enter, and the invitation is open for you. You'll find the link down below. We'll do a Sacred Wealth Code Oracle card reading. I'm going to shuffle this deck briefly, and meanwhile, I want to invite you to just allow whatever is on your heart from what we've unearthed in our time together, and to allow this reading to inform that and trust that. If you have something in particular, hold that and let your answer arrive. It may arrive through one of the cards or all of them. Lovely. Okay. The first archetype that steps in is one we've been talking about throughout this episode already, which is the mystic. The mystic, the south node of the moon. Now, the mystic's mantra is, I am spiritually wealthy. Therefore, the mystic is never in scarcity. So this archetype comes in to mirror your sacred discipline, your choice to pay attention, notice how we use that word, attention, to what's essential for you, what's most important, and to strip away what isn't. This is less is more. Where could you step into the potency of less in order to experience the more your heart truly wants and that you're really here for? Our next archetype is one of Saturn's. This is the administrator. The administrator's mantra is, I walk with a foot in both worlds. And the administrator is here to remind us that it is a bit of a balancing act to walk with a foot in the inner world and the outer world. But be ever so careful to keep the balance. And by allowing your inner world, your devotion, your purpose, what you're truly here for, it lead, that will keep the outer world in balance. Be wary of the outer world, the ephemeral, which you cannot take with you in the eternal being that you are, consuming you. You get to choose. And the third card that comes in is the celebrity, which is one of the sun's archetypes. The mantra is, I lead with my light. True essence of a conscious leader is leading with our light, whether you're a masculine or a feminine. And that is the essence of leading from the inside out. And first, and the celebrity is reminding us, it's not about being seen by the outer world first. It's about being true to your inner light first and allowing that to radiate out. Because the celebrity leads by radiance. And you can't develop radiance. You cannot be radiant by only attending to, say, what you put on or make yourself up as through performance. That radiance must truly come from within. So choose radiance over proving and performance. Now take a deep breath. Whatever landed for you, allow it to land. And we'll do our integration practice so that you come into embodiment with whatever has come through for you today. So take a moment and take another deep breath and just let this drop in. I honor what I value with how I live. I honor what I value with how I live. So place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes if you can. Drop your breath into your belly. Exhale completely. Take your next breath and breathe it straight into your heart. And on the exhale, just let it expand out from your heart. And one more like that. Breathe into your heart. And on the exhale, let it expand out from your heart. Let these soul wisdom questions drop into your heart. Your mind is there now, and together they will refine, open the door to the perfect answer for you. The truth that has been knocking from the inside of the door. Let this question drop into your heart. Where am I unconsciously spending myself? Where am I unconsciously spending myself? And then let this one drop in as well. What is worthy of my devotion now? Now that you know what you know, awareness precedes change. What is worthy of your devotion now? And our final question here. What would my life look like if I made devotion my metric for success? What would my life look like if I made devotion my metric for success? Yeah, that. Take a deep breath, capture what you need to, pause this, write things down. You're worth it. If you're longing to live inside a field that holds you in daily remembrance of your soul's design, Sacred Wealth Mastery is that living temple, not a program, but a resonance. If you feel the gate is open for you, you will know. And if you would like a personal reading with me, that personal guidance to align with your true nature and the divine timing of your next steps, you can book a soul blueprint reading or a sacred wealth code reading, a very powerful way to see your unique gifts and the timing written in your chart. And if you're simply ready to receive support and monthly reset in a sacred way, the Healing Circle is always here as part of this work. It's one of the pillars of Sacred Wealth Mastery, but it's also available on its own subscription. And it's a beautiful place to restore coherence, align with your own inner architecture. You'll find all the links in the show notes. And as always, I invite you to subscribe, to follow, to comment if you're on YouTube, share with me what's come up for you, and to share this podcast with someone who might need it today. And if you're listening on Apple, please leave a review. It really helps to get the message out to others. And on Spotify, you can like this episode or leave me a comment there, which also helps to get the word out. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here. Remember, your soul already carries a blueprint for your wealth, your purpose. And when you live in alignment with that truth, the aligned people, opportunities, and resources arrive for you without force, in perfect timing and in perfect sequence. So much love to you.